Okay, he has SS for both of them. Start with my Fellow-Afflicted Skyfed. If I swap them, it brings in the Bone Serpent. If he jukes, it'll bring in Anomalous. Go for a Felt Emulate. Assuming he doesn't juke, I'll go for the Wing Buffet. I think he survives on the back line if I don't get any crits. Oh, I don't know about that swap. He could have survived on the back. I feel like I didn't really gain him a lot. Gave him a free swap to his crow, I guess. But as long as I don't miss, I'm gonna dot up his flyer. It's probably gonna kill me, or try to. I'd be surprised if he swaps here. I'll go for Wild Magic in case he misses. Okay. Should be in a pretty good spot here. I'll just 1v1 his Bone Serpent with mine. Go for... Maybe I just send Decoy, actually. I have a dot ticking. Now I'll go for Flame Breath first. That way if he swaps to use Bone Barrage on my Decoy. So I can either go for Time Bomb or Decoy. I feel like Decoy's slightly more valuable, because he's just going to use Liftoff to avoid the Time Bomb. But at least Decoy will block a little bit of damage from Bone Barrage. So I should win this 1v1, since I'm starting off with a little bit of extra damage from my TMD. I'm not sure if it's worth going for Time Bomb. Maybe I use it whenever he uses Liftoff. Probably go for Bone Barrage now. And you missed two of them, so now's a perfect time to go for Time Bomb since... Well, he might pass, actually. Would I pass if I was him? I don't have to go for Time Bomb. I'll just go for Flame Breath. Okay. Now his Liftoff is on cooldown. I should easily win the 1v1. If I land the Call Darkness, he's dead. So I'm just going to send it. Tough team to beat. I'm not sure how to approach consistently beating him. I have an anti-darkness team, but I don't know if it'll be able to beat him because he has a Bone Serpent and my team has an MPD on it. Also, I'm not sure if he has Toxic Fumes or Void Nova. I feel like he probably has Void Nova. I'll try this anti-darkness team, but I don't know if it'll be able to beat a Bone Serpent. All three of these pets are pretty good versus Anomalous. Living Sandling and the MPD are pretty decent versus the Crow. But then the Alpine Foxling's the only one that's any good versus the Bone Serpent. So if he picks his matchups well, I think he might still win, especially if I don't get as lucky as I did on that last game with RNG. Because he had a lot of misses. I don't think I missed at all. Okay, so I'll probably start with Anomalous. Could start with the Living Sandling. Or the MPD. I feel like Living Sandling's a safe bet. Although I really need him versus the Crow. Alright, let me go for Sandstorm. I'm going to play as if he has Void Nova, because that's what I think he has. I'm bringing the MPD here. Ah. That's unlucky. He brought in my bad matchup. He's going to go for... Well, is he going to go for Bone Barrage? I have Sandstorm up. If I was him, I might change the weather to Darkness. Him swapping tells me he almost certainly has Void Nova. I'm just going to swap to the Alpine Foxling. If he goes for Darkness, at least it's weak damage. Let's go for a Crouch. I think the smart move here is to bring in the Crow, because even with Dazzling Dance, I'm going to be slower than him. That was not a smart move. I mean, it was smarter than staying in on his Bone Serpent, but if you're going to swap, Crow is the correct choice. Yeah, and he's bringing the Bone Serpent. This is very winnable from his point of view if he picks a better matchup. The Crow's a very awkward matchup for the Alpine Foxling because I really can't do any damage to him until he's below his flying racial. And even then, I need Dazzling Dance to outspeed him. Okay, do I go for Dazzling Dance or Crouch? I might only be able to get off one. Since I don't... If he gets like a high roll with Liftoff, I could die to Nocturnal Strike through Crouch. I think the safe option was going for Dazzling Dance. I was likely to get off both, but just, yeah, take no risks here. I'm going to sacrifice the Foxling here for a free swap into my Living Sandling, who I think will 1v1 him, no problem. The only way he possibly loses the 1v1 is if he lands a 40% Nocturnal Strike. We'll go for Sandstorm first to mitigate the Bone Barrage. That worked. I'm not sure how well it would do if he played better, because he definitely could have picked better matchups. Him saving the Crow for the end while I'm playing my Alpine Foxling on the front line is a big misplay. So if I get him again, I think the Alpine Foxling is really good versus the Bone Serpent. And it's okay versus the... versus Anomalous. It's just really bad versus the Crow. I'm not sure... Not sure what is a good option for the crow. I mean, the MPD's good versus the crow, but really bad versus the bone serpent. Let me take a second to look at my anti-darkness tames. Maybe there's an elemental. So the living sandling's probably the best elemental versus his team. And elementals are usually pretty good versus darkness birds. The crow is super fast, but his attack power isn't that high, so he actually doesn't hit that hard. So maybe I need a team with lots of health. I think this team will probably beat him. My counter team for the Dex team. Primal Stormling's going to be pretty decent versus the Crow. MPD's good versus Anomalous and the Crow. Tailshell Crab's really bad versus the Crow. Not very good versus Anomalous, and I guess viable versus the Bone Serpent as long as I could save my bubble. I feel like this team could beat him, but I would probably bet money on his team winning. So let's look at these other teams that are similar. Maybe the Rose Typin. I don't know. So the problem is he has the Bone Serpent, so Blinding Poison's not going to be very effective. And that player is good at predicting when I'm going to use Blinding Poison, and he'll swap in his Bone Serpent to eat the blind, and then ignore the blind with Bone Barrage. Jingles is actually not that great of a counter versus the Crow because he loses all of his stats for speed just to lose the speed fight. I think the TMD worked out pretty well for me that first game because he doesn't even waste a single stat on speed. So he has a ton of attack power and better than average health. And Decoy is good versus Darkness Birds. Alpine Foxling is really good versus Anomalous and the Bone Serpent. And then Primal Stormling is another pet that I think is pretty good versus the Crow. He spends a lot of his stats on speed, and he's not ever going to be faster than the Crow. Well, he won't be faster than the Crow with the flying racial, but without the flying racial, with Dazzling Dance, he will actually be faster than him. The only problem is he's a little bit low on health, so if he manages to land a 40% Nocturnal Strike, he's not as tanky as the Living Sandling. So far, I think this is probably the best team I can see if I get a rematch versus him. There's probably some sort of triple Sandstorm team that would be favored to win versus him. Because Sandstorm's good versus Anomalous. It's pretty good versus the Crow. It's actually, yeah, it's pretty good versus all three of his pets. But especially the Crow, since it messes with his Nocturnal Strikes. Then I make a double Sandstorm team with the Kunchong Hatchling. So the Kunchong Hatchling takes weak damage from Darkness. He has 2 Darkness pets, so having a Beast is going to be helpful. I'm just not sure about running Roggy with Crystal Overload and Sandstorm. He has a magic pet, so he can passively ignore that. Plus the Bone Serpent can avoid it, so I would have to 1v1. Yeah, I don't think that's going to beat him. Trembler would probably be decent versus him, but I don't think I want to run Rock Barrage because I'm not worried about Decoy. So far, this still looks like the best bet I have. Anomalous might actually not be a bad pet versus his team, even though there's the mirror matchup, because Anomalous is going to be annoying for the Crow and the Bone Serpent. They don't like facing AoE teams. I think I'll play this team, because I haven't been able to find anything else that looked better. Can I beat this guy? Yeah, I think so. Alpine Foxling's really good versus his team. So I suspect he'll start with Little Rag. I'm going to start with TMD. We'll try to decoy the Magma Trap, hopefully. And he knew what I was doing. Okay, well played. So he's going to get that trap down. Nothing I can do about it except hope that it doesn't go off at a bad time. The best time for it to go off is definitely versus my my Dragonling, because these two pets are way more valuable. Oh, and he set it off on the Dragonling. That is huge. Thank you so much. Big throw. You should not be running Magma Wave on Little Ragnaros. I mean, it means that I can't run Clone Dance into you, but... yeah, what makes the trap dangerous isn't the fact that, oh no, I'm stunned whenever it goes off. It's the fact that it interrupts me on the turn that it procs. Which is a way bigger deal. Let's bring in the Primal Stormling. He has Flamethrower. Weird build. Alright. We'll go ahead and kill him. Mitigate some of that Flamethrower damage. And then at some point, what I probably want to do is sacrifice one of these two pets to give my Alpine Foxling a free swap. But I want to save at least one of them to eat the one-shot, because he has the Call Darkness Prowl. You know what? I don't need to sacrifice. I can just stun and swap in the Foxling now. Let's go for Crouch. He went for the AoE while I have Sandstorm up, so that's really not that much damage. It only did 17 to my Alpine Foxling. Alpine Foxling's probably the best pet I could possibly have versus this combo of two undeads. And especially versus these two, because what makes this pet scary is he has Darkness with Prowl, so he can one-shot pretty much anything that isn't a magic or a beast pet. Undead and Mechanical sort of mess with it too. Okay, so does he send... I feel like he's going to go for Prowl right now. So what I'm going to do is bring in my TMD. Wait about 17 seconds and then press Decoy. Oh, he predicted it, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much over at this point. He doesn't have a way to avoid Time Bomb besides praying to 10% RNGesus, so we'll go ahead and send it. And then I'll eat the Darkness on my TMD, that's fine. He doesn't do strong damage to undead, so he's easily the least valuable pet. Although, I might want to save him for later, because what he'll probably do is swap this guy out and go for the one-shot later. I think what I'll do here is bring in the Stormling. We can stun him. And then he'll get re-stunned. And he'll die to the dots. So... Gonna bring the Alpine Foxling while he's stunned. Oh, he actually doesn't die to the dots. I should have paid attention to how much damage it was doing. Oops. Well, he'll definitely die now, so... May as well... Go for crouch. It's very helpful that I have all three of my pets alive, because that really messes with his grave destruction damage. There's no way that he's going to swap, so I'll just go for Dazzling Dance, even though it doesn't really accomplish anything. I guess maybe it could allow my TMD to be faster than Graves, but I don't think that'll be important. I really don't like this type of team building where you have two of the same pet, because let's say I have an Alpine Foxling. Yeah, I kind of outplayed him with some mind games, but at the end of the day, he should probably lose 9 games out of 10. Versus, like, pretty much any beast with critter damage, like the Vengeful Porcupet or the Alpine Foxling. Alright, easy no time. Just feels kind of win tradey. Like, if I have a humanoid, you auto-win. If I have an Alpine Foxling, I pretty much auto-win. And it makes the gameplay feel irrelevant. It's more about, like... Oh, nice ding. Let's pick a talent. I don't know. I don't really play this game anymore. I feel like this probably isn't worth it, so I'll probably want something here. Maybe this talent. Maybe Rushing Wind Kick. I feel like it's probably... You either want to run Rushing Wind Kick or this. I'll just take this for now because it's passive. Yeah, dang. Guess I need to log over to another character. 3 decent games. I'm going to call it for the video. Make it a short one tonight. These teams I'm queuing into aren't particularly fun. I can beat them, but the pets that I would have to play are a little bit limited. So I'm going to take a little break. Probably go do some dailies or something. I'll try queuing again later, see if there's more fun teams. I can get away with playing fun teams. Yeah, decent games. Gonna call it for today, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.